In the charming city of Seattle, Washington, where tall buildings kissed the misty sky and ferries crossed the sparkling waters of Puget Sound, lived a woman named Olivia Morgan. Olivia was 30 years old, a writer who often spent long hours in front of her laptop, pouring her heart into stories that she hoped one day would become novels. She lived in a cozy apartment downtown, where the windows overlooked the lively streets filled with coffee shops, bookstores, and people rushing to work. Olivia had always been a dreamer, but she also carried within her a secret heartache. She was in a relationship with Ethan Hayes, a 32-year-old businessman whose work often pulled him away. Ethan was charming and ambitious, but he sometimes left Olivia feeling as though her emotions and her dreams were not fully understood. Though she loved him, there were moments when loneliness weighed heavily on her. One rainy evening, Olivia sat at her desk, her fingers tapping against the keyboard as she wrote out a fictional story. The story reflected emotions she herself was grappling with: desire, regret, and longing for connection. She poured her heart into the fictional characters, using them as a way to release the feelings she could not say out loud. Writing became her way of keeping secrets, a safe place to confess her heart without judgment. But one day, Ethan came home earlier than expected. He found Olivia sitting with her notebook open, lost in thought, her eyes distant. Curious, he asked what she was writing. Startled, Olivia tried to brush it off, but Ethan noticed her hesitation. He gently reached for the notebook, and before she could stop him, he began to read the words she had written. His eyes scanned the pages filled with emotions so raw and vulnerable that they surprised him. At first, Olivia panicked. She feared he would misunderstand, that he would see the story not as fiction but as a reflection of her dissatisfaction with their relationship. She whispered, "It's just a story, just writing." But Ethan looked at her with searching eyes, realizing the depth of what she carried inside. Instead of anger, Ethan's reaction was softer than Olivia expected. He placed the notebook down and said quietly, "These words, they're beautiful, Olivia. But they sound like they come from a place you've been holding back from me." His words pierced her heart. She had indeed been hiding her feelings, afraid of burdening him with her longing for deeper emotional connection. Tears filled her eyes as she admitted, "I just feel like sometimes you're so busy, and I don't know how to tell you what I need. So I write it instead. These are my secrets, my unspoken feelings." For the first time in a long while, Ethan sat down beside her and truly listened. He apologized for not seeing her loneliness sooner and promised to try harder to give her the emotional presence she craved. That evening, instead of drifting apart, they drew closer. They talked for hours, not about business or daily life, but about their dreams, fears, and what they truly meant to each other. Olivia realized that sometimes secrets were not meant to stay hidden. They were meant to be shared with the person who cared for you. Her fear of being misunderstood had almost created a wall between her and Ethan, but his patience helped her see that vulnerability was not weakness but strength. Days turned into weeks, and Olivia's writing took on a new light. No longer was it only a place for secrets. It became a space for hope, joy, and growth. Ethan, in turn, began to respect and appreciate her passion for storytelling, even encouraging her to share her writing with others. Seattle's rainy nights no longer felt lonely. Instead, Olivia and Ethan created moments of connection. Long walks by the waterfront, quiet evenings with tea and laughter, and deep conversations that made their bond stronger. The regret Olivia once carried began to fade. She understood now that hiding her feelings only deepened her sadness, but sharing them had brought her closer to the man she loved. And Ethan, too, learned that love was not only about grand gestures, but also about quiet listening, about being present when words felt hard to say. The story of secrets turned into a lesson of trust. Desire for connection and the regret of silence transformed into a deeper love, rooted in honesty and vulnerability. Olivia's life as a writer and as a partner became richer because she dared to open her heart. Sometimes the most powerful stories are not the ones we keep hidden but the ones we dare to share with those who matter most. And in that, Olivia and Ethan found not only forgiveness and understanding, but also a love that was stronger than before.